Thank you, Brother Ray, for this opportunity to talk to all of you today. Hello students, teachers, alumni, friends, and family. I have ALS and I'm proud of it because it is a blessing to me from God. I know that sounds kind of weird for me to say, but I'd like to describe my journey and how it has established my faith. I wanted to be here with you all today to tell you that God is real, He exists and He is here with us. I am Michael McMurray from St. Paul's class of 1963. The school had about 350 students then and nearly half were boarders. The campus looked so different than today and almost all the teachers were brothers. When I graduated, our senior class was the largest in the school's history with 51 graduates. I did well in sports and was awarded the Jimmy Dunn Trophy and was recognized for scoring over 1,000 points in basketball. I received a basketball scholarship to Southeastern and played 4 years there, including a game against LSU and Pete Maravich. My senior year I received a draft notice. Not for basketball but to go to Vietnam. It was a scary time, and being in the war, I saw many horrible things that definitely affected me. In 1970, I returned home from the war. I returned to school, got married a few years later and had a beautiful son. Life was good. But eventually, after many years, there would be a series of events that tested my faith and would soon change my life forever. It all started in December 2011 when my father, who worked here at St. Paul's for 20 years, died suddenly when his weak knees gave way one morning as he stepped onto his porch to get the mail and fell to the sidewalk below, hitting his head. He had been caring for my mother who had dementia. She then died 3 months later. I was wondering why God did this to our family. Did I commit any sin that would cause Him to do this to me? I was so angry and depressed and wondered what would be in store for me next. Then in December 2012, I started not being able to speak very well and my foot was weak. I went to a neurologist who did a test connecting wires to my legs and arms. It was very painful, and when it was over, the doctor told me that I had ALS. I went for a second opinion. After repeating the same painful test, the doctor confirmed the ALS diagnosis and discussed with me in detail what I was about to face in the future. Driving back home, I thought about all that had happened to me and what lay in store for me in the future. At that time I had 2 jobs, working as an accountant for the Retired Brothers and the Christian Brothers School in New Orleans. I knew that I would lose my jobs. What was going to happen with me and my family? Why is this happening to me now? My wife and I decided to attend an ALS support group meeting, where I learned that due to my service in Vietnam, the Veterans Association would supply everything I needed to take care of me as the ALS progressed. I felt so grateful for God answering my prayers. A few months later, my muscles were getting weaker, including my mouth and throat muscles, which made it very difficult to speak and eat. I felt very sick one night with high temperature and was taken to the hospital. This journey would change my whole life for good. I had pneumonia and a collapsed lung. I would need to get a trach and ventilator to help me breathe or I could die. I felt depressed again, but God was with me and I knew things would be all right. Several hours later, after the surgery, I woke up in the ICU and needed someone to help me, but I was totally helpless and it seemed there was no nurse or doctor anywhere in that giant building. I couldn't yell for help or press a button. Then suddenly I began to pray to God for His help. This was the time when I realized that He alone has the power over all things in my life. I began to recite the prayers I knew, but I quickly changed and asked Him for His blessings and forgiveness of my sins instead. I don't know how much time went by, but a nurse appeared by my bed and began to take care of my problems. I believed that God responded to my prayers, and I saw this confirmed again several more times while in ICU. Later I realized that God was there when my parents died. My father died first, so he wasn't going to be lonely and depressed the rest of his life. My mother died peacefully a few months later. Everything in my life was planned by God to bring me here. This illness has helped me get so much closer to my family, and I feel happier with my life today, right now, than ever before. I want you to know that God is real and He is here among us, waiting for someone to ask for His help and His blessings. Find some quiet time to focus on Him and trust that God has a plan for your life. He won't let you down. I totally understand that God still has a plan for me, and I have the faith and trust in His love for me. Thank you for listening. Go Wolves!